Hi, I'm Tati, and I can't believe it's already day 5 of BookTubeAthon. So first I'm going to do the BookTubeAthon challenge for today, which is called Class Reading List. For this challenge, you have to make up a topic for a class and then create a reading list for that class. Before I start this challenge, I did want to let you know that because of the topic I chose, some people might consider this a spoilery video for the books that I chose to go along with the topic. So I want to let you know what the books are first in case you don't want to be spoiled. They are We Were Liars by E. Lockhart, Made You Up by Francesca Zappia, Karvall by Stephanie Garber, Shatter Me by Tahara Mafi, and Buried by Rachel Marrow McCready. So if you don't want to be even slightly spoiled for any of these books, I would skip the challenge part of this video. Also, I'm not sure how many books are supposed to be on this list. I have 6 on my list, but the challenge video only had 5, so I'm just gonna go with it. When I watched the challenge video, I started thinking about the books that I read and what they had in common and what I could use for a class. And an idea that popped in my head was unreliable narrators. I really enjoy reading books with unreliable narrators, so I thought that would be a great idea for maybe a writing class. And since this is my class that I'm making up and I read mostly YA, I decided it would be unreliable narrators in young adult fiction. Now, I decided to only use books that I had actually read. The first one I want to talk about is Buried by Robin Marrow McCready. Buried is a psychological thriller in which the main character is in denial and is essentially keeping the truth from herself. This was one of the first books that I ever read with an unreliable narrator. And when it was revealed at the end, like with so many books with unreliable narrators, it's revealed at the end that there's an unreliable narrator. I was completely shocked, but I absolutely ended up loving the book because of it. Next on the list is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. In this book, the main character has been part of a tragic event and has repressed the memories of it. Because of this, she doesn't really understand what's going on around her. Because she's the narrator, we don't really get to understand either. Now, because this is a class, I thought I should have a classic, and I decided to go with a short story, The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe. And in this short story, it's the narrator's conscience that is causing him to hear things that aren't actually happening. Next, I picked Shatter Me by Tahara Mafi. Now, I do think that in this first book, Juliet is a little bit of an unreliable narrator because of her situation and the fact that she's been locked up for so long. Her perception of what's going on around her is skewed. As the story progresses into the other books, she becomes more reliable and we get the perspectives of different characters so that we can see the full story. Next, I picked Made You Up by Francesca Zappia. This one is a little bit different from the previous ones because the main character in this book actually has schizophrenia, which means that she knows that she's an unreliable narrator. She knows that everything she sees may not be real. However, she is still the narrator, so everything she sees, we as the reader see. And so we're right there along with her trying to piece together what parts of the story are real. And it makes for just a very powerful story. The last book on my list is Karvall by Stephanie Garber. And that's because the challenge said to include a book from your BookTubeAthon TBR. And I felt like this was the book that was most closely related to my class topic of an unreliable narrator. And because Karvall is part of this book, and when you're in Karvall, you can't really trust anything you see. So it's more of an unreliable setting than an unreliable narrator. But if Scarlett is tricked in the story, so are we, because we're seeing it through her eyes. So I'm counting her as an unreliable narrator, at least for while she's in Karvall. Leave a comment below letting me know what you think of this topic. Do you like books with unreliable narrators? If so, what are some of your favorites? Because I'm always looking for more books like that. Thanks for watching. Bye. I forgot that I was going to say that. No, I'll do it at the end. Oh, what's her name?